Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And our topic is on meaning and biology. This is a bit of a tricky one. When we think about meaning, we tend to think about, how do I make sense of this situation? Or how do I make sense of my life? Some kind of thinking thing. But one of the things about meaning is it's what psychologists call holistic. And we actually derive a great deal of our meaning from our bodies, from our physical selves. Let me try to help you understand this one. We'll take a non-human example. So if my dogs could talk, I wouldn't be able to understand what they're talking about because my dogs make sense of things through smell. And the reason they do this is because evolution has given them this thing called a vomeronasal organ. It's given them huge numbers of scent receptors in their noses. So for example, you and I have about 6 million. Beagles, I think, have about 300 million, and I think most dogs have around 200 million of these receptors in their noses. So we, human beings, aren't very good at smelling stuff. Dogs also, some dogs have big floppy ears that allows them to channel the scent into their noses. And unlike humans, for example, smells are always fresh to a dog. Human beings tend to get used to smells, even really bad ones, and don't pay attention to them after a while. Dogs, it's always fresh. And this idea, this way of making sense of things through smell is completely foreign to me. I have no idea about any of this. If I want to figure out if the milk has gone bad, I got to basically stick my nose in the carton. But my dogs, I mean, they can pick up scents like 100 meters away, no problem. So that world, that sense-making world of a dog would be completely foreign to me. On the other hand, evolution has given us a physical body that stands upright. We have eyes, which are not all that great compared to other animals. We can't jump very high. It's not like we can make sense of the world because each of us can jump 30 feet in the air. We don't fly, so we don't make sense of the world through flying. But we do have these things called thumbs, and thumbs, we don't think about this stuff, of course, but we have these thumbs. So when I want to let the dogs in at night, I know that I have to go open the door. It wouldn't even enter my mind to get the dogs to open the door. So it's, in a sense, we're all, as the psychologists called, embodied people. We have this physical body that affects us, and however we make sense of the world has to account for that physical body. Now, one of the curious things about people with addictions, of course, is that they're so disconnected from their physical body, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because if you're in active addiction, you really don't want to be paying attention to it very much. Because, well, you just have to think about it. If you have to show up for work after a night of binging, it'd be very useful to tamp down any messages your body is sending to you about how sick you are. Or if you have to take cocaine or maybe crystal meth, you don't really want to pay attention to, say, losing weight or the fact that your teeth are not doing so hot, or the fact that you're getting rashes on your skin. And we had a client who, before he came here, he ended up in the hospital, and while at the hospital, the doctors noted he actually had a couple of his back teeth that had completely rotted out. And I made the comment to him, boy, he must have had a hell of a toothache, and he said he barely noticed it. So it's kind of curious that people with addictions don't really pay a lot of attention to the messages their physical body is sending to them, even though this would be fairly routine. And it's a curious thing that perhaps if they're not paying attention to their physical body, this probably has a great influence on how they're making sense of themselves and the world around them. Anyway, that's it for this episode, and we'll be back next time with another episode on our meaning and biology.